Hello and welcome back to another Galaxy of Heroes video. And in this one we're just going to discuss how I'm going to be splitting my roster for this new season of 3v3 Grand Arena. Because if we take a quick look, I am now up into Bronzium 3 from Carbonite. So, and it being 3v3, I need so many more teams. Like in Bronzium you need, I think it's 2, 2 and 3. So what's that, 7 on defense, which means you need at least 7 on attack, and I just don't have enough teams. So I'm going to have to be as efficient as possible, and when I'm coming up against, I think my opponent has like, I think it's like 7 million GP, if I can remember off the top of my head, which I can't. Oh, it might be 8. I know he only has one Galactic Legend. Yeah, 7 mil, I was right. He has Siffer Turtle, but he has just so many more teams. There's gas there as well. One per, so it's not like I can even set Massive Eternal on defense and, guaranteed like a hold on that front wall so I can save 3 more teams in the back, because he can one it, he can gas it, he can see it. It's just not an option. So realistically, the chances are I will probably lose, and will lose a lot while I'm in Bronzium, just because I don't have enough teams for a while until I can start getting some more built up. But since the last video, where he got C3PO up to 7 stars, with actually a very, or what I think is a very like nice leveled Ewoks. If we go down, like we've got what, 1 gear 12, gear 11 on Patplu and Elder, 10 on Wicket, and can't remember which one that is. 9 on low grey. So I feel like that's fairly low gear. I did say in the previous video that I was applying the Omicron just to get them all up to gear 12 so I have an extra team in GAC, but honestly I just can't be bothered. Don't have the resources to spare for it. So I'm not going to be doing that. Or at least not yet anyway. And there'll be a Jedi Knight Revan video soon enough, because Jolie's almost done. Mission and Zalbar are up to like 6 stars now. You can see it here with Zalbar, which is nice. So Jedi Knight Revan's coming along. That will give me another team for Grand Arena eventually. But if we jump into the 3v3 tab, my first team is obviously going to be Sith Eternal with Watt. And like in my previous video, I explained why he's better on his own, but this also gives me a chance to split up my Sith with Traya and to have Savage on his own. So that's my first team. My second team is Vader. I do have some spare Empire characters I can chuck with him, like Grand Moff Tarkin, Royal Guard, Krennic, some leftover like Imperial Troopers, but I'm going to do my best to use him solo. Try and find a team like Geos where he can pick off quite easy, because I do have speed and potency, just so we can do more with the Culling Blade. I know offense is better, but he's got 258 speed. Not amazing, but it's alright. He should be able to do the trick on his own against the right team. Emperor Palpatine and Mara Jade, bringing Grand Admiral Thrawn in there as well, is a very solid team. You can get that like a kind of Terminator train rolling with Mara Jade and Emperor Palpatine with the with her basic and stuff like that. But Grand Admiral Thrawn in there to swap the Terminator as fast, because my Grand Admiral Thrawn's a lot quicker, so we can swap that Terminator straight over to Mara Jade. So I can get that stun out, get the stagger out as well, and just hopefully control the battle a bit more. Obviously, Emperor Palpatine has the mass stun. So this is a very solid team, and it will be, especially if I decide to bring up what's she called, Mara Jade, up to relics. Like, she's gear 11 now. She's not a million miles away. She needs some Kyrotech. She needs what, 200 Kyrotech, then another 100 at gear 12. So it's just expensive, and I'm not going for Star Killer yet. So I just don't want to spare the resources for her yet, just because she's great at gear 11 with the Zeta as well. But yeah, another very solid team that can do the trick against a lot of squads. I always use it a lot for Jedi Knight Revan. That works really well with Thrawn's Fracture as well. But they're my first 3 squads. Very nice, splitting my Empire up a lot. So then moving on to CLS, we've split the 5v5 team that you can see here, with including Han and Chewie, into 2 teams, which is the reason I farmed up Dash just for 3v3 Grand Arena. And I'm pretty sure this is the most efficient way to split it, especially now my C3PO's got both the Zetas on, got 7 stars, he's almost at gear 12 as well. It'll be a very, very solid team. We all know how good CLS is and how especially good he is early on. So this team will hopefully be able to pick up some wins for me, because I think I am going to bring it on attack. It can be decent on defense, but I think attack's the way to go. I need that offensive firepower, otherwise I'm just not going to be able to get through any walls. And Dash, I've got his Omicron. I could do with his Zeta eventually. the hot shot, get that extra turn meter. I do need that, and honestly may end up being my next Zeta, just because I've got a lot of scoundrels as well at like gear 12. But with Han and Chewie, though, it should be a good team, especially with the synergy these two have together. So that's how I'm splitting up my CLS team for 3v3. And then moving on, we've got Traya Omicron. We all know how good this is. I don't have the ideal team of Nihilus and what's the one called? Scion. But it should still get a job done, especially with how much damage Sith Marauder deals. And it is a shame you can see here Savage is being left on his own, because last season in 5v5, because you don't need as many teams, I could use Traya and Savage all on one team and just completely lock down a wall, but because of the lack of teams, I just can't do that. So I am trusting Savage to solo on his own, which he should be able to do. We all know how good he is as well. Both these Omicrons are probably like top 5 Omicrons, being realistic. Especially early on, both really accessible. Definitely would get these two characters up. But with the two Relic 7s, lots of damage being dealt there. Obviously, when Sith allies are hit, the enemy loses either protection or health, one of them, or it might be max protection or something. So it is a very solid team. We'll be able to get me some wins quite easily. She has the isolate, can lock off some tanks so I can attack other people as well with Sith Marauders. Special ability where it just yeets the lightsabers at them. Should be very nice. And yeah, again, Savage, just like Vader, could put more Sith on him. Or with him like Darth Maul, Count Dooku, but for the banners and the efficiency reason, I just need him to be on his own for now. Padme, we all know how good she is, especially early on. Just like a lot of these other characters, the 5v5 team is going to be split into 2, and you'll see that later on. Where I put at least Grandmaster Yoda, I don't think I put Ahsoka with it, to be fair. But I've got Kenobi up to relics now as well. Jedi Anakin at relic 7 for Eternal just deals so much damage, especially once we can get those extra stacks of courage from the protection up. It's going to be very nice. Since Kenobi's at relics now, he has a lot more health and protection for his taunt as well. So hopefully this team will be able to get some holds for me, because I am running it on defense for now on my top wall alongside Iden. So that should be very, very nice. Should hopefully get some holds that top wall, people underestimating it. My bounty hunters, of course, not the ideal lineup. You want Mando and you want Grief on there, really. But I only really have one good lead for bounty hunters, so I can't really split it into 2 teams just yet. Eventually, if I get Aura Singh or Fennec, I will be able to, but just for the relic levels and the damage they deal, I think Dengar and Boba are better, because obviously I can throw a Datacron on this team now, with them all being relics, right? With my Grief mana like gain 9, so it's just not worth it for them. But Boba with his execute can do loads of damage. Dengar has the stuns and stuff, and like his AoE, which is very nice. Bosk obviously it's taunt, so it's a really, really solid team. Obviously my team going for Executor, that's why they're all relicked up. But it should be able to get me some wins. I should be able to pick up some easy wins with it, especially with a Datacron, because I know I've got crit damage ones on offense. I've got 3, I'll show them at the end if you are interested. Splitting up my Imperial Troopers, of course we have the 2 great leaders of Veers and Iden. Veers has been given Piet, obviously, because he can't go on Iden because of his leadership, and Dark Trooper for the damage. So you use the ability that I forgot its name, Imperial Ambition, give it to Dark Trooper, let Dark Trooper just start smacking people, and hopefully should pick up some easy wins. I think it's on defense for this first round at least, especially since I can't put Sith Eternal down. So hopefully it can get a hold. I highly doubt it. I'm honestly not going to get many holds, especially against this opponent. But it should be it's always a solid team. Always does the trick. Iden as well is probably my favourite defensive team. People underestimate it so much. She's at a low gear. But with her Omicron and a Zeta, even this team of just Stark and Rage Trooper, which aren't the greatest characters, but they just do the trick. Even in 5v5, they're amazing. So hopefully in 3v3 they can do the same for me. I'll probably have like an end of season report, like Sanjita does with his videos. Take some inspiration from that. And hopefully she'll have some holds. I am counting on her to get some, because she is honestly one of the best free-to-play defensive teams that I have ever seen. And now we start getting towards my scrap teams. These last 3, we've got Geos. Obviously a lot worse in 3v3 than 5v5 because of the shared health and protection pool. So there's less health and protection going around, so they're not as good. Vader will just absolutely demolish them, but I've got no other choice other than putting on my defense because they're not going to do anything on attack. This is where I put Grandmaster Yoda from my Padme team alongside Bastila and Jolie. Hopefully it can do something. We know how much protection Bastila's leadership can give, so maybe they'll be able to do something. Obviously I don't have the revive, don't have any of the Zetas kicking about, but hopefully it can do something. And finally my Ewoks with Chief, Paplu and Wicket. Like I said earlier, I was going to bring them up all to gear 12, but I just can't be arsed. Can't spare the gear. So the Omicron hopefully can do some work. It is a wasted Omicron, really could have saved it with something better, but you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. So these is how I'm splitting my teams. You know, obviously what forgot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I've got 14 teams. Which means I would have to one-shot everything, which I doubt I can do. But, you know, it is what it is. We'll play the game. We're happy. We're happy with the increased crystal income from Bronzing 3 than Carbonite 1. So, let's have a quick look at my fleets. I would usually set the Negotiator, but this round I've set the Chimera just because he has the Malevolence, and I know my Negotiator can beat it quite easily. So that can hopefully get me a ship win. Honestly, the Negotiator can do great work against anything other than like the Executor, the Profundity, and the Leviathan. So I'm going to bring it on offense for at least now, and just keep my Chimera on defense, especially until I have Executor, which I will probably put on defense just as how many holds it can get and how many teams it can beat. But you know, we're not worried about that now. So it is what it is. So it's the Chimera on defense now, the Negotiator on offense. And then going at my Datacrons, I've got 3, you know, 2 from set 9, 1 from set 10. If you have a look at this first one, obviously the light side character is not really important to me because I only have 2 relic ones. Same with the Old Republic, but what it can give is a ton of health steal and protection, which is really nice. The one I've been using for a while now. But you know, with the these ones don't have the decrease in relic levels, like set 10 does. But my other one is a dark side Datacron. It's not great, it just does evasion down. Can't reroll it, can't afford to. Would like to, but I don't think I can. Oh, I might do that. Obviously it won't matter for this round of Grand Arena, but I might just do that. Hopefully get a bit of a better dark side mechanic, because I've never even had a Datacron where I've had a mechanic that can work. But a lot of crit damage, a little bit of protection, you know, very, very nice. And then onto my final Datacron. It's a very offense heavy one, you know, got rolled offense 3 times again. No light side characters, but you know, it is what it is. The offense will do just nicely, especially with these low relic levels. Like I can put this one with my bounty hunters, like I was saying, and get a ton more offense, especially with Boba's execute. That'll be great. But I think that is everything. There's not much more really to talk about in this video, so I hope you guys have enjoyed. I don't know whether you've noticed, but I've started posting more just regular Star Wars content on my shorts, so if you are interested, please check that out. But please also just know that the Galaxy of Heroes content is not going anywhere. It will always be around, it will always stay, and we'll always be progressing together. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.